Hello and welcome. In today's episode, I'm joined by someone who's working with AI every single day, often in ways many of us haven't even imagined yet. I'm Riaz Yusuf. I'm a Chief Information Officer and your host. Please join me in a fascinating conversation with Adheep Mohamed, an AI solutions architect. Adheep came fully prepared, bringing along a PowerPoint for some great visuals and even sharing a demo of a really cool video that he created using AI. So, without further ado, let's dive into today's episode with Adheep Mohamed. Welcome, Adheep. So glad to have you on the show. Could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Riaz, and thank you for having me here. My name is Adheep Mohamed. I'm a AI solution architect with over a decade of experience. I used to design solutions for leading financial institutions, pharmaceutical companies, and then now I'm working for some major real estate giants. And since 2021, that's when everything started, right? The LLM AI got introduced. My focus shifted slightly towards the AML and then GAN models, generative adversarial networks, and then large language models, machine learning, etc. Now I'm giving end-to-end solutions for enterprises for them to innovate, automate, and scale.
Wow, that sounds very interesting, Adheep. So, could you begin by explaining your role in the AI ecosystem?
Sure. My role in the AI ecosystem is basically a bridge, right? I act as a bridge between the cutting edge research that's happening right real time, and then I'm implementing those research items into the real world applications. And a big part of my work involves using these models into the existing projects. Like I embed the AI model into an existing application, a web application that's been running for years. And then I'm also embedding it into data pipelines, build pipelines, cloud platforms, etc. Right. So I also explore custom model fine tuning and agentic AI systems, which is a buzzword right now. In essence, my job is to turn all the AI from experimental capability into a trusted production ready engine that can be used by the organization and make impact on the business.
That sounds great. That's exactly what a lot of companies are looking for at this time. So, when you say AI, I feel like AI is like an ocean, right? So, what part of AI are you currently working on?
So I'm working specifically on fine tuning LLMs. So we have a lot of open source LLMs out there. We take those open source models, we choose the right one for them, we experiment with it, and as you know, the LLMs, they have their own characteristics. Basically, certain models are good for image generation, certain models are good for content generation, some of them are good for coding too, right? So we kind of pick and choose, kind of a cherry pick what models to go for. So that's primarily what I've been doing.
I see. Okay. So, I have a variety of audience that typically watch these recordings. For those who are unfamiliar with the technical details, can you give a very high level understanding of what is LLM?
Sure. I think I want to start the conversation on the LLM with a funny note. I know when you and I, when we used to grow up, we have heard stories from our parents saying, we used to walk from our house to the school, like maybe it's 5, 10 miles, and they used to brag about it. They say, oh, we used to do that, we used to do this. Now you guys are so sophisticated, you're not doing all those things right now,
Yep.
right? Because we have other modes of transportation, they cannot even comprehend what is the level of, the struggle they would have gone through, right? Some of them would think it's bragging, but some of them would say, oh, they literally are how their parents had, go through all the suffering to get to that point, right? I'm sure in a couple of decades, these are the stories that we're going to tell to our grandchildren, saying that there used to be a day where I used to write essays just using my creativity, right? I used to do art, paint, just using my hands. And I used to go stand in the line, book tickets, right? book appointments, talk to people, and all those things. So all of these things that look so common today is going to look like a very, 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 very tough job for the next upcoming generation. All because of this one innovation that happened in 2020, around that time, 2021, when LLM got introduced. Hands down, that has to be one of the most, or even the best innovation in the entire decade.
I see. Thank you. That's helpful. You're right. LLM has taken the world by storm. But what I'm wondering about is actually two-part questions. Why no one is talking about how LLM actually works? And also, can you, in a few words, explain to us how does LLM does what it does?
Sure. Maybe it's better if I show you in real time, right? So I can just
Sure.
share my screen quickly.
Picture is always worth more than 1,000 words. So,
Okay, I think it is up. Okay. Before going like too deep into LLM, how it works, let's just talk about LLM, right? So we know what is LLM. If anybody is living under a rock, they would have already used LLM by now. But LLM in general, just for definition purposes, it's reshaping the way we interact with technology, right? So it can be talking to an agent, talking to a chatbot, getting some quick information, or you want to generate some image, share it with your friends. It could be anything, it's just the way how you communicate with it and how you interact with it and how humanly the responses are, right? So that's the best part about it. And it is all driven based on the back end of that is all mathematics, right? So it's a mathematical, at the essence, it's a mathematical model driven by deep algorithms. And then these AI models are not just not just limited to a chat interface. They're going to revolutionize the entire workflow, enhance productivity, and then enable new creativity for people, right? So that's pretty much what LLM is. So I'll come to your second question, which is how does these work, right? So everybody has used an LLM, but no one knows in detail what is really happening, right? So it's like I said, at the essence, it's all a mathematical problem. That's how the LLM understands questions. But I'm just trying to keep it in a nutshell. I'll give the explanation as simple as possible, and wherever details added, I'll give you more details on that, right? Let's look at this area where the input is processing, right? So imagine you're going to ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, or your favorite, LLM, and your chatbot, and then you're typing your question. List all the colors available, right? It could be a simple question like that, but it needs a lot of processing, thinking, everything, right? So your question is English, right? So that's your input. But then LLM, like I said, it doesn't understand English. So it is a mathematical model. It has to understand only numerics. So it can only understand numerics. So there has to be a layer in which this language is getting converted into your a numeric sense in which the LLM can understand. So
Is
that's
it fair to call that numeric language a machine language, or is there a different name for that?
we call it tokens. So
Tokens. Okay.
probably, yes, you would have heard about tokens, 7 billion tokens, 10 billion tokens,
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
100 billion tokens, and
Oh,
things
that's
like that.
what this means. Got it. Okay.
That's
Thank you.
exactly what it is. So how
Mhm.
much of information can it understand in that particular context, right? So that is what it defines basically, the billion tokenization and everything. So that like I said, so your input is getting converted into a token, and then it goes through this self attention computation. So a bit of a history, maybe a fun fact for everybody. In 2017, Google published a paper. It says, I think it goes like this: attention is all you need. Maybe that's how, or all you need is attention. That's the paper that they have released in 2017. And OpenAI was formed specifically based on this particular paper. They accept that the GPT models 1 to 5.0 or whatever it is, like it is all based on that one paper, which was published by Google, right? So it talks about putting weightage to the words, and it's a complex process. But that paper kind of revolutionized how OpenAI, into a simple organization, now they've grown into a multi-billion company, right? So that's kind of a transformation that they had, and that is the only way that is actually working on all of the LLMs right now too. It goes through transformers, then context is understood, then the output is generated. As you know, the LLM is not thinking. Like if I ask you a question, I'm thinking that question in my mind. How do I respond to it? What is the information that I need? Then I'm responding. So they try to mimic all these information. But if you ask the same question again, the response is always different, right? It's
Mhm.
not the
Yep.
exact same words that it comes, because it's just doing a prediction of what is the next word. Okay, so I can show you quickly how it all works. In a nutshell, there are two main information that nobody's talking about: start of the sequence and end of the sequence, right? So when I ask a question like a list of colors, is generated by the LLM, and then it's also fed as an input. So next word will be guessed by the LLM. Oh, if A is here, then next answer must be a list. What is the probability of this word to be coming next? What is the probability of this word? So every time it also is random. So it chooses 37% first or 38% next, or something like that. So it kind of does all these mathematical calculation and then produces output, which seems more humanly, but it is all mathematical.
I see. Okay, that explains why we get different answers even asking the same question. Thank you, Adheep. So now that we understood what LLM is and how it works, can you briefly describe the difference between Gen AI, Agentic AI, and AI agent? Because these are the words we keep hearing repeatedly when people talk about AI. I don't necessarily know myself, I understand that clearly, and for my audience too, it'll be good to understand the difference between Gen AI, AI agent, and Agentic AI.
Sure, for sure. Yeah. So, like I said, so all of them are interrelated, but essentially different, right? They are different in essence, but they are all the same. We are using the core, which is the LLM, the AI ML part, but then the difference is the way you interact with it, and then the output or the capability of that particular term, right? So let's go in detail. Like let's start with Gen AI first, right? By definition, generative AI, that's what we call Gen AI, is
Mhm.
basically to generate. It's an AI that generates new content based on what it was trained on. So basically, whatever information that you have given so far, billions of information that you have given, like for example, a normal LLM model, let's say a Mistral 7B, it's an open source LLM. So it was trained on tens and thousands of books and texts, right? So if a human had to read that entire set of information, it would have taken 26,000 years nonstop for 24 hours, right? So that is the just to give you a perspective of how much information these LLMs are being trained on, right? So once you have all this training, this generative AI can predict the next set of words based on its own information. That's all it's doing right now. So if a text generation is being, I mean, uh, if you train it on a lot of text, it's going to be perfect as text generation. If you train it with a lot of image information, it's going to produce a better image. If you do it on a video, so and so, right? So you have to be. It all depends on the data, the quality of data, and how much information that you are actually feeding to the generative AI. That is
So in
what.
the beginning of at the
Yeah,
beginning of the conversation, Adeep, you had mentioned about in your job, you use different AIs for different purposes because they all specialize in different areas. Is it because these companies train their AI with text, for example, or images or audios separately? Is that how they become specialized in particular handling particular data type?
that is correct. Yeah. So right now we are in a stage we are talking about all these different types of LLMs, essentially because the companies are trying to use the LLM, maybe like a vanilla LLM, and then they are able to customize it, fine tune it, make it better on specific tasks. For example, Claude, definitely, if you ask ChatGPT that write a code on a Python code to extract image from a image objects from a video, it can do it, right? But Claude is specifically trained on GitHub repositories, thousands and thousands of GitHub repositories coding different languages. So it's actually better than ChatGPT in terms of doing that particular task, right? But if I ask some generic question, would Claude be able to answer? Maybe, but I would prefer ChatGPT in that area. So also Grok, if you want real time information, what people is talking about right now, like what is the trending topic last minute, right?
Mm.
You can get the real-time information from Grok, which is not possible with all the other LLMs. So right now we are kind of fed with a lot of different types of LLMs which are very specific, and then they are expert at certain things.
I see. So how do you know that which Gen AI to use for what purposes? Is there a cheat sheet available somewhere? If I want to use for image, this is what you typically use. If you want to use for audio files, this is what you typically use. Is there anything like that?
Right now there isn't any, because the pace at which people are improvising a model is very, 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 very quick, right? For example,
Mm.
we all heard of the story of Gemini. It was bashed for being so bad because when ChatGPT 4 was released, they were complaining it's not better than 3. When ChatGPT 5 got released, and people started bashing it for not being good at it, right? But then immediately in another month, they released something called 5.1. All of the problems are magically gone, right? So you cannot keep up with all these changes. It all depends on the experimentation, like it all depends on it all depends on personally how you use it. So I use image generation constantly, right? Every week I generate some images just to share it with my friends and all. I've seen, like, I've experimented with different LLMs, but I've always seen it's been getting better. But I have a preference for Grok. So Grok is good at generating certain types of images. ChatGPT is also getting catching up, but I would say, like, just experiment. You might have some preferences. Somebody might not like it for that particular purpose, but I like it.
Wonderful. Thank you. So that's generative AI, right?
Yeah. I'll give you an example also. Like,
Okay.
we talked about this. So let's say you go to a vanilla LLM. It's not agentic, it's not RAG or anything like that. It's just a plain LLM. You go to it and then you ask a question. Plan a 3-day trip to Australia, right? And you can also say, I love playing with koalas. I like to visit places where koala bears are available, right? So it can give you a detailed information, like day one you can go here, day two you can go here. This is the agenda, right? The next thing that you ask, okay, what is the price of the ticket from New Delhi tomorrow to Australia, right? Vanilla LLM cannot give you this information because it's been information bound. Like, there is always an expiry date on the information. It says like December 2024 or 2025. So till 2024, that model has all the information that happened currently. But after
Mm.
December 2024, it does not have any information. So it cannot give you information about what's happening today, what is my weather today. So all of those questions it cannot give you with a vanilla generative AI, right? But imagine right now you have option to integrate with APIs, right? So let's say you integrated with Expedia API, book my flights. So there are APIs that are exposed right now. So if you have plugins installed correctly, then LLM can interact with those APIs and then get that information for you. So that is possible today
I
if
see.
you're.
So when you say vanilla AI, you mean like something like ChatGPT, going online to ChatGPT and asking current information like price of a flight from one place to another place. Is not possible, but we can use an API possibly to make that happen.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And let's talk about the agent AI now, right? So now that we
Mhm.
understood what Gen AI is, what is an agent, agentic AI, or let's talk about AI agent, specifically AI agent. So same use case. So now that you know this is the agenda for booking my trip to Australia. This is the flight ticket. It's in the range of 1,200, 1,400, right? Because the LLM is able to give you that information. So now let's say if I ask the question, can you book the ticket for me? Right? It cannot do it because it is not sophisticated enough. A pure generative AI or an LLM cannot do this. It can give you information, but it cannot take actions. So that's where AI agents come into place. It is a program that helps you to complete a task, right?
Mm.
Using tools like its memory, using tools like other APIs and other knowledge, and it completes the task for you. For
Mm.
example, let's say you ask the same question in a slightly different way. Let's say, book me a cheapest ticket to Emirates, right? From New Delhi tomorrow, right? So
Mhm.
it is going to do a lot of information checks. It's going to search for the next set of flights. It's going to decide what is the cheapest one for you, right? You're not making the decision. The AI is making the decision. And then it goes ahead and books it. So it's going to be like 1,200. Let's say that is the price of that particular ticket. It's going to complete that and then say, oh, yeah, this is the confirmation for your bookings.
So for this to happen in this example, I need to supply the AI agent with my credentials for these websites like Expedia and other websites that it's connecting to. Is that the case?
That is correct. We'll talk about that. So that's going to be not very not it's going to happen in very in upcoming months. I wouldn't even say a year, but in few months you will be able to do all of these things what I'm showing you, which is not it's not being done by everybody today, but it's going to
Mhm.
be very common in just a couple of months.
Wow, that is going to be game changing.
Yeah. So also like if you see this is how the overall LLM also works, right? So let's say if you ask the agent, okay, make it more complex, right? So how do you talk to a real agent? So you can say, hey, I need to book a ticket from New Delhi, cheapest ticket. This is the day. You don't have even have to say this is the day in which I'm going to plan for the ticket, right? You can
Mhm.
simply say I want to visit this place, but this place has to be let's say you're going for a 7-day vacation. It has to be sunny. Nobody wants to be in the vacation and then you all of a sudden you see the weather change, right? So it's be disappointing. So I would say like, okay, book a ticket from this month to this month whenever there is a week that has 7 days of consecutive uh, sunlight, right?
Hmm.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Because
Hmm.
the AI agent can actually go fetch all the weather information, let's say AccuWeather or whatever, like you can feed in that information, and then you feed in information about your, like you said, your credentials,
Mhm.
your ticket booking options, and all those things. Then it can decide all those options. It's going to tell you, oh, May 21st to 28th is the most sunniest day in Australia. You can go there. So it's going to do that.
Interesting.
That's the AI agent. But
Okay.
let's talk about agentic AI. Like it's slightly changing, but if you follow the same example, you will know, right? Your agent, it is able to book tickets based on whatever conversations that you're having with the AI. But let's say your visa got expired, then even if you book a ticket, it's not going to be valid because you need
Mhm.
to know, you need to have a valid visa, right?
Right.
Now, agentic workflow comes into place, or agentic AI comes into place, where it can talk to another agent. Let's call that agent as visa agent, right? Or immigration agent. So it's going to know what is my visa status, what is the procedure to renew the visa, or what is the procedure to apply for the visa. So these two agents are going to communicate, and then it's going to book an appointment for visa interview, If there is another process, it's going to set another appointment with that particular agent. And then they kind of collaborate and say, okay, so from asking a question, I want to travel to Australia for 7 days, to an entire plan with your appointments booked on your Outlook. How does it sound like?
Wow, that sounds amazing. But I still don't fully understand the difference between AI agent and agentic AI. Are you saying that agentic AI is more like the things that make things happen? Oh, looks like you have a definition. Let's go through it.
Yeah. So here's the definition. I know this is going to be a little bit tricky, but yeah, just follow along. So agentic AI is a system where one or more AI agents. So it's just a group of agents talking together, working together, making decisions together, and then to attain a goal, right? So if you look at the goal or the outcome of the AI agent is task related. Do this, it's going to do your particular task. For agentic AI, it's goal related. I need to go on a vacation to Australia for 7 days. That's your goal, right? What are all the smallest steps that needs to be happening? All those decisions are made by these AI agents, individually working together or collaboratively working. And then at the end, the outcome is your tickets have been booked, hotels have been booked, suggestions have been made, decisions have been made, and at the end of the day, you have everything booked, and then you just fly to the place.
Interesting. So, if I may translate this to a layman language, it sounds like agentic AI is more of a supervisor that oversees a bunch of contractors doing their job, and then it basically they all report what their task back to the supervisor, which is the agentic AI, which then reports to the big boss, that is the us, the user, say, hey, this task is completed or not.
Exactly.
Wow, that's
This
amazing.
the agentic AI is the one that does all these orchestrations for you.
Mm,
Instead of you calling a travel agent and say asking all these questions, giving
right.
all the information that you require, right? So most of the time it might be inaccurate because we are all, we don't have all these information readily
Yeah.
available, right? So we might make mistakes, but when you have all these information fed to an AI, very
Mhm.
likely it can make mistakes. Even if it make mistakes, you always can go and correct it because, like you said, you're the final boss at the end of the day.
That's right. Okay. Wonderful.
Let's quickly look at the differences as well. So just LLM only, that is the generative AI, it can answer, and it's all based on the pre-trained data, right? AI agent sometimes takes decisions, it completes the tasks, it also goes around and fetches information from internet, right? Agentic
Mhm.
AI, like you said, it is a multi-step goal-oriented program, right? Its task is to complete the entire goal, not just tasks. It's like you said, it does all the orchestration working with multiple contractors.
Mhm.
The tool usage, the agentic AI, like the Gen AI, there's no external tool usages. AI agents uses tools like AccuWeather. It might use tools like Expedia to complete a certain task. And like I said, agentic AI is going to use another agent as a tool, right? So multiple agents talking together are going to be the future, right? So it can do that, and then autonomous decision. Gen AI cannot make decisions for you. AI agent can make decisions for you on a specific task, but agentic AI can make decisions on multiple things. It can make decisions for your hotel bookings. Make it can make decisions on your visa, for your tickets. All these things. So there are several steps where it can make decisions.
Wonderful. Yeah, this is amazing. So, Adib, where would you place a browser like Manus, who call themselves as a agentic browser? Is that a AI agent or is it agentic AI?
Okay, so that's a specific. It's a workflow. I would say it's a framework basically. That's what it is. So Manus AI, if I can give you a quick example, it's like a platform. It's only a platform, right? So you can go there and then you can customize it for your own needs. So not only Manus AI, there is Innate N, which is an open source orchestration framework. You can build your agentic AI in it. There is Agno. I think Microsoft has their own agentic AI platforms. So these are all different platforms. Manus AI, I know they have been so popular right now, but there are a lot of other competitors also catching up. So they basically provide a platform, and then you build your agentic AI on top of it. Whether you're a business, small business, personal use, it's all dependent on the person who is going to build it.
Wonderful. So you're saying agentic AI basically uses Gen AI in the background.
Correct.
Got
That's
it. Okay.
exactly what it is. So if you
Got it.
see, this is how this is what I wanted to show. So this is how an agentic AI would look like, right? So this is an example. But if you see, LLM is a small part of it. It's not the whole. It's not the hero of the story right now, right? It's been hero of the story in 2021, but right now it's not, right? So it's just a small part. But you can see how everything is actually interacting with different APIs to make decisions, and then if there is any correction, it's going to do a correction here. Then based on decisions, it's going to make another set of calls. So you can see this can take longer because ticket booking is a task, but traveling to a specific country or going for a vacation is a big goal, right? It takes a lot of time, a lot of decisions have to be made. You have to wait for the response to make the next decisions, right? So it's kind of a workflow. It automatically runs every day, every minute, until it reaches the goal. I just want to show you a quick example how an agentic AI would look.
This is a helpful pictorial view. And I see a note you have up there that talks about IT ops and DevOps and a few others. Would you want to say anything about those notes?
I mean, it's just general notation. Like if you if I think we are in a stage right now. I think there are several leaders, AI enthusiasts are already talking about it, right? So if you remember 2014, 2020, startups were one of the buzzwords, right? So anybody can create a startup, and then they have the innovation, they have the idea, they have partners, and then they create new businesses, right? So right now, startup is not a buzzword anymore. So you can have one person, $1 million company is possible because you need development team, you need QA team to execute it, right? Let's say I am an innovator, I have an idea, but I have no clue that how to build a web app, how to build a mobile app, how do I publish it to the customers, how do I do marketing? All of these things I cannot do it by myself because I'm only limited to certain things, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's why we have teams who can help us to achieve this
Mm-hmm.
entire goal. But now that agentic AI is come in place, one agentic AI can play the role of developer. Another one
Mm-hmm.
plays the role of a QA. Another one plays the role of a scrum master, right? The whole idea of this agentic scrum master is funny because it's going to see all of these tasks and say, oh, you have not completed this task. Go and
Mm-hmm.
do it. That's the only task that it's going to do, but it's very so important for the quality of the output,
Yeah,
right?
that's very interesting. Exactly.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I mean, you can your agentic AI becomes your team basically, right?
Exactly. So
That's your
all of
team.
these IT ops, SecOps, DevOps, they're going to be there. Right now, let's say there are a team of 5 people in DevOps, right? There might be a team of 6 person, and the sixth person is agentic AI. It's going to learn with you. It's going to be paired with you, and it's learning along with you. Um, and then at some point in time, you will only have 3 people and 3 agentic AIs, right? It's the reality right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, wonderful. Are you ready to switch on to my next question?
Yep.
Okay. Next question is regarding what is called a RAG, a retrieval augmented generation model. So these models seem to be another emerging concept. So I'm wondering, how do they work, and in what ways are they different from the standard generative models?
Sure. I think for this also, let's look at a good example, right? So let's say you have a chat agent or a chat bot. You're gonna go to that and then ask a question. Oh, I have an insurance. with you, can you process the claim, right? Or what is the process for the claim? Right now, the LLM will try to understand your question, and it will say, I don't know, because who are you coming to me asking about car insurance, right?
Mhm.
I have no clue about what car insurance is and what is the application and all those things, right? Let's say if I have to implement a little bit of intelligence to it, I would say, oh, okay, so LLM, understand these are the terabytes of company policies, that are available here. So understand this and respond, right? So now I'm pairing the LLM with a few terabytes of information, and then now immediately the question that you asked could be answered, right? How? Because it's going and retrieving the necessary information. So that's basically that model of going to the right place to get that information is called the RAG model. So basically, it's all about retrieval. Sometimes it might be going against a physical PDF, terabytes of PDF. Sometimes it'd be going to a billing database, and most of the time it can also go to internet to fetch some information, right? So deciding when to use what information and how to collect all these information itself is a model, and that model is what we are calling it as retrieval augmentation.
I see. So when we see companies using chatbots, which is leveraging their knowledge base to produce answers to users' questions, those are using RAG model basically behind the scenes.
Those are called RAG models. We
Okay.
are using RAG models without even knowing what is RAG models, without even knowing that we are using RAG models. But basically, it's just a concept. So whenever you take the decisions from different set of data using your retrieval and then processing it, that's called a RAG model. It's available right now. But think about it now. The next generation of RAG models are coming up. They're called agentic RAGs. It's not agentic AI anymore. So it's agentic RAGs. There are few key points that to be noted. For example, can it retrieve context? Yes, it can. A generic RAG model can do it, but agentic AI can do it better, right? Can it plan next steps? This needs a next level of information, which RAG model cannot do, right? So, for example, the same thing. I want to file a claim. What is the process? So, an RAG model will give you the output, but the agentic RAG will think, why is this person asking this information? What is going on in the background? Has there been an accident? It's going to make that decision, come back with a set of questions which can easily put you in context, and then it will be easier for you to travel through that particular
Hmm.
conversation, completing the filing the claim very easily.
Got it. Okay. So in
So
general, it sounds like the agentic more resonates with human-like, right? It starts to behave like a human at that point. That's what seems like more agentic.
correct. So you can see this. So anybody watching, they can experiment it today as well. Just go to grok.com, and then ask some complex question, right? So what is the future of NVIDIA in upcoming decade, right?
Mhm.
So it needs to know what is NVIDIA. It needs to know what was the performance of that company for past 10 years. Then what is the current sentiment analysis, and then finally it's going to make the decision, oh, this is how all these information I have, I'm going to produce an output saying, okay, you can do this, you cannot do this. So all of these decisions are being made real time. There will be a small arrow. You can just expand it. It's going to show all the thinking process. If you read it, it is very similar to a human. Like how would I know what is NVIDIA? Okay, let me do Google search. What is NVIDIA? What is their 10 years of past performance? What is the current performance of the company? Now I make a decision, right? So it makes all those calls and then makes a decision. So you can actually visualize how the thinking model is currently working. You can try it out in grok.com.
Interesting. Great. Okay, wonderful. So let's talk about the real world application of these AI models. So where are these AI models currently being used in the real world beyond chatbots, which as we talked about, and image generations or text generations? Beyond those, where else are AI models being used?
Um, So right now we are there's huge adoption that is going on. So a lot of companies and a lot of people are already into this bandwagon of AI. So they're readily absorbing all these, newer technologies. There is always, um, people who are resistant to newer technologies for the obvious reasons. But yes, right now I can see the adoption rate is much faster and much higher than the other technologies, we've been used to so far, right? So in real time use cases, currently there is a talk that most of the AI companies are failing. Most of the AI initiatives are 99, 95% is ending up with loss. But I wouldn't say it's just an initial investment issue and then an initial issue, but not an issue with the AI. Reason, it can replace anything. Whatever that you do today can be replaced with an agentic AI tomorrow, right? So I can replace myself taking calls from insurance companies, talking to mortgage companies, working with them for a refinance and all those things. So right now I'm doing it, right? So if I build an AI, agentic AI just for that purpose, it's going to talk to the bank. If there is it watches for all the market newses. If there's a drop in the mortgage rate, it's going to call them, say what is the information. It's going to book my the whole uh, refinance application, and then it's going to do it. I'm playing with my kids while this AI is actually working for me, right?
Mhm.
So any kind of activities that is that you are doing online today can be done by an agent, AI agent tomorrow.
Got it. Okay, that sounds amazing. So it's on the news that Apple has recently introduced offline AI APIs for third-party apps such as Uber. So what's the significance of development like this?
Okay, so it's going to be a very interesting news, right? So offline, so they're saying the AI models are going to be as part of the phone itself, right? So I'm not a big fan of Apple, like I'm not promoting Apple in any way, but this is going to change the way that we do things, right? For example, imagine right now if you have to use an LLM, you need to have internet connectivity, right?
Right.
So let's say I'm going for a hike. I'm walking towards something, and then I see a small plant. I know I want to know what type of plant are they. I see a berry, whether it's edible or not edible. Let's say I have to be in that particular situation. I don't have internet at that point in time, so
Then
I
you
can
can't use
use
AI
yeah,
today.
I can
Yeah.
use my in-app AI, which can
Mhm.
work offline, and then I can just get that information for at that particular situation. It's a small situation, but you can think about all the emergency situations where you can be,
Mhm.
and then you have a very intelligent person with you who can help you in those situations, right? And
Yeah.
also, let's say you want to book Uber, right? So right now I open the app and then do all the destination, look at the price and decides where to go, when to go, and all those things. So those things can be replaced completely by just saying, "Hey Siri, book my Uber, and this is the time." Right? That's all I'm going to say. So it's gonna decide what or when I'm going to travel, what is the mode of transportation, everything, and then it's going to talk to the Uber AI, which is going to be new thing. So the apps are going to be embedded with agents. So
Hmm.
there's no API anymore. It's going to be agents that are going to be exposed, and agent to agent communication is going to happen. And then it's also going to say, okay, I'm going to order, maybe it's 12 noon. I'm going to order a coffee to the nearby Starbucks or whatever. So it's going to do all those things based on the preferences. Sounds
Wow.
magical right now, but it's going to be very common in another couple of years.
Well, as long as the AI responsibly uses my wallet, I don't mind you doing that. So a lot of us use Siri, for example, the built-in phone agent or AI that helps you provide some answers and so on. So how might this the interaction of general purpose agents like Siri with app-specific agents uh, change the way users interact with the mobile applications? Do you see that changing in the near future?
I mean, I heard I was listening to one of the podcasts. So I forgot the person, but they were saying this is the end of apps, right? There's no more apps. So right now, if I open my app right now, I have app for my bank, I have app for social media, I have app for music, I have app for whatever different types, right? So now if I open my app, there are like at least 150, 200 apps in my phone.
Right.
So all of them are going away. That's what they're saying. But I also believe that's going to be the truth, because when you have one intelligent person who can take care of all these orchestration, they can decide what music I listen to when I'm in this particular day of the time or a time of the day. You can actually you don't have to open an app for that, right? So all of those apps are going to go away, is what the future going to look like. It's going to be one single application. It might be Siri today, it might be something else for other companies, but there will be
Mm.
one agent that you regularly talk to, and then that agent is going to interact with all of the things that you are doing today, going to be done by that particular agent.
Wow, sounds very much like a fiction movie.
Yes,
That's great.
it is scary to think of, but like I said, this is going to be a story that we will be telling to our future generations and our grandkids or whatever. Like, they'll be amazed about all these things.
That's great. So let's talk about the evolution and the future of AI. Like you said, the future of mobile apps is probably gone in the future. So speaking of the AI themselves, how powerful is AI today compared to its capabilities in 2022? We all see that, right? Just in 3 years time frame. And what key advancements have occurred since then in the last 3.5 years since the LLM model was introduced to the market?
Yeah. So I've been keenly watching this space. I've been working on this space for at least 5 years now. Um, I don't know how many of us remember the DALI, which was OpenAI's first product of
Yep.
image generation. If you look at the quality of that particular output right now, like I have all those tools right now, I mean, like the outputs of those tools and videos in my LinkedIn. If I look at the output and then now I compare something that's out of the box from Meta, from Grok, from Claude, seems leaps ahead, right? So the
Mhm.
image that was generated 2022, at that point in time, that was magic for me, right? You could type in something and then you get an image, was magic, right? You could feed some information and AI is able to say, oh, this is a cat and this is a lion. That was magic for me, right?
Mhm.
But now all of those things are very meager. Like, if you think about it right now, it's not even sophisticated as what you see right now, right? In all this is happening in just 4 years,
Yeah,
right?
and even within the last few months, have you tried Google's Nano Banana? This even more
Yeah.
seems like even more advanced. It's
Correct.
getting more and
So
more improved.
interesting that you mentioned Nano Banana, because companies like Adobe Photoshop, right? So Adobe, basically, they've been investing a lot, because that is their market. So the tools like Photoshop, Corel Draw,
Hmm.
those were the tools, pioneers of the tools,
Yep.
right? In that particular field, image editing or video editing for Premiere Pro and etc. So now that these Nano Banana open source tools are available, nobody's going to use all those tools,
Hmm.
right? So they have to come up with some other business idea or adapt. Otherwise, they will be out of business in no time.
Hmm. Yeah, that's very true. So what developments should we expect in the next few years as AI continues to evolve?
Sorry, I missed your question. Got it.
So speaking of the development of AI, which seems scary to me, because it's super fast, right? So my question is, what developments should we expect in the next few years as AI continues to evolve?
So, like I said, right now it's you can predict a little bit, but as far as what is going to happen in future is very, very um, uh, it's going to be better. That's for sure. But it's really hard to predict what we are going to end up with, right? People are talking about AGI, so which is a singularity. So it's even more scarier to think about. right? For example, right now in my house, I have some automation. As you know, in your house, you have some automations like turning on lights,
Mm-hmm.
turning on heaters, all of these things. You have automated it, you have scheduled it, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What if this is all being controlled by another agent, right? For the better purposes, yes, it can make good decisions, and then it can say, okay, Adip has gone out. I'm going to turn off the AC. Now he's going to come back because it knows my GPS location. He's coming back. So in another 20 minutes, he's going to reach. Let me turn on the AC. So all these decisions are being made continuously. Sometimes people are referring AI as a parent. It will take decisions, even though you don't like it currently. It's going to be better for your future, right? So that's called singularity. It's going to take decisions. It's going to say, I'm not going to let you eat fridge. So let's say I open my fridge at 12 o'clock, 12 in the midnight, right?
Mm-hmm.
For eating my cake or whatever. It's going to say your blood sugar level is 200 right now. I cannot let you eat this. So I'm not going to let you open the door. This is going to happen soon. Because it is a hard decision for you, you might say,
Sure.
this is crazy. I don't want this to happen, right? So because it's interfering with your free will, but it is actually taking a good decision for you because in the long run, it's going to save a lot of things. So that is going to be. It's interesting to see how far these agentic AIs can go and how far they can have the ability to control. But I think the let's say we have all the guardrails in place, the override mechanism in place, then I think we should let the AI take over.
Well, in other words, you're saying we'll continue to be parented forever in our
Correct.
life. Then that's probably
Exactly.
good for a lot
Yeah.
of us. So switching the topic slightly, Adip, I want to talk about AI and workforce because that's one of the key concerns that sometimes we hear ever since the chat GPT and other LLM models were released on the market. In fact, I even created a video about whether or not AI will replace people. So I'm curious to know your perspective because there is a widespread concern that AI will lead to job displacement. To what extent is this concern justified from your perspective?
So from my perspective, I would say the possibility of AI taking some of the jobs is definitely possible, right? It is doing so. I remember when we started using Copilot, GitHub Copilot, as a pair programmer, right? It was introduced saying, oh, Copilot is going to be a pair programmer. It can work with you, complete your code. Um, let's say I want to write a for loop. If I type for, it's going to complete the rest of the program, and then I can continue with my program, right? So now the Copilot I'm seeing, it is not a pair programmer. It's more of a senior developer,
Hmm.
right? So now it takes away all of those tasks of training a specific intern to be better at coding and all those things. Because now, if as a manager, if I decide whether I to hire an intern or take an AI agent to do the task, I would definitely do an AI agent to do the basic preliminary stuff, right?
Hmm.
But will it replace everything? I don't think so. It's not going to be replacing, but it is going to be a tool, more like a tool that you can use. People who try to adapt to this new tool will definitely explore new horizons, right? So they're gonna
Hmm.
learn this is the extent of doing certain tasks. Let's say, I'll give you a real-time example, right? In my company, I've never written a Google uh, Chrome plugin ever, right?
Hmm.
But I know HTML, CSS, JavaScript. That's what the plugin is, but I've never developed it. Uh, no, the use case is also very complex. So, like, it's for getting information, extracting information from a site. The site is also a very complex site. It has about like thousand data fields. I need to have all those information.
Hmm.
So the easiest way is to use a plugin. I developed that
Hmm.
entire plugin in just a matter of 4 hours. 4 hours is also big because I have this learning curve on how to use the plugin and all those things. But if I had the idea how to do this, and then I was
Hmm.
able to develop the Chrome plugin in 4 hours, and that's been marketed in the company for making money, right? So it
Hmm.
just happened in 4 hours. I had the idea, it got implemented. As a
Wow.
technical person, I'm happy.
So
Manager is happy.
without
Yeah.
AI, if you were to do a similar development, not knowing Chrome plugin development at all, let's go back 5 years in time. If you were to do this, how long do you think it would have taken you?
I'm sure somebody from UI has to do the UI development. Somebody on the JavaScript side, they have to do the development.
Yep.
Somebody will be writing the backend code, right? So all of these things require multiple people. Let's assume the minimalistic, right? So it is going to at least take 4 people, 4 weeks to complete the task.
Wow. 4 people, 4 weeks. So that's now cut into just one person doing it in a half a day. That's amazing. So in essence, you're seeing see or look at AI as a tool and not a threat. Then you'll
That
be
is
fine. Basically, that's what you're saying. So
correct.
then I
So
would like to. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, you're right. So you're right on the point. Like, so I right now this takes. I look at it in a slightly different way. I'm not threatened by AI because I see it as a friend, or like it's a tool. It's taking away all the complexity. I come from Java background, so if somebody asks, "Can you write Python program today?" I would say yes, right? Because I have the tools that can convert my logic into Python program. That is, I can become technology agnostic, right? Just using the AI. So this is very pretty powerful tool. Like if you know how to work around it, if you know the prompt engineering, it's not that hard to master it. Also, it's very simple. Like you can just practice, 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 and then at one point in time you will be the master of handling the tool.
That's great. So why should workers view AI as a tool rather than a threat? And how can they leverage it to enhance their productivity? Like you mentioned your example. Do you have like a broader suggestion in regards to how can people leverage AI to improve their productivity?
For sure. So I think now we've always seen a web first, mobile first, customer first. So now we are in a zone where we can say AI first, right? So wherever you're doing something that is mundane, or it's repetitive, or you can do something better, you use AI to make it automated, right? You automate that thing, that task, get it
Mm-hmm.
over with, hand it over to some intern, give a tool that can run that particular task using an intern. You do something better, you learn something, you
Mm.
upgrade, or you take up newer challenges, you know so that is what you should, or a developer or anybody who should be doing, who's in this particular industry, using the AI. They can actually go much further than without the AI, right? So I was actually blocked. Like if I look at a senior developer, they would say, "I'm not .NET developer. I don't know Python. I don't know backend." So you would hear all these stories even today, right? There'll be
Mm-hmm.
people who say, "I'm a front end developer. I'm a backend developer. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
database specialist." Now, database specialist is gone, right? You ask question, it's going to fetch all this information. There is no query involved, right? So you're gonna take that particular role out. What are you
Right.
going to do? So you have to either learn how do you augment AI into your workflow. So all of those things you can do better. You can learn. You can also suggest this to your company. Obviously, any company, they will not look at how clean your code is, how
Mm-hmm.
faster your output is. That's what they are more interested in.
Got it. That makes total sense. Um, so just as tools like Photoshop that you mentioned earlier, Adobe's product, and Maya used to be popular too at one point, these tools transformed the artistic workflows, right? So can AI simplify or revolutionize software development without replacing programmers? Is that even possible?
With producing programs, yes, it is possible. It can make it better. So even right now, see how many places you see the word AI, right? So even on the podcast that we're talking, there's an AI agent, right? It's called AI assistant. What is it going to do? It's listening to all the conversations, transcribing. It's going to send you a minutes
Mm-hmm.
minutes of meeting, right? There
Right,
used to be
right.
a stage where somebody used to take notes. and
Mm-hmm.
then send it to people, right? So that's the task of one person. So they have to be attentive on all the conversations. Now they don't have
Yeah.
to, because
Mm-hmm.
somebody, the AI is going to do that for you. So
Mm-hmm.
your tools can always get better. That's exactly what I'm doing. So I incorporate the models into the existing web applications. That's what a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are doing right now. So there is always potential for growth, potential for improvements, and I know so that it's definitely going to be like that.
Okay, so when you say that, in what ways is AI currently boosting productivity for professionals, particularly such as developers, analysts, or even entrepreneurs?
Yep. So we've always had this, quandary of whether you should think about the logic first or do the
Mhm.
coding first, right? As a developer, I can tell you right now, I always have this, I have this quandary whether I should start the logic first, write down what I have to do rather than how I have to do, right? So what is more important than how I'm going to do it, right? So if you know, for example, let's say I want to convert an JSON into an Excel, right? It's
Mm,
happening in a lot of use cases. It's a very simple task too. So if you have to do this, I need to know certain things even before start coding, right?
mm,
So I need to know the structure. I need to know what is the structure of the Excel, what is the framework that I'm going to use. All of those learning curve, let's say it takes about 2 days, right?
mm.
Just to understand how I'm going to do this.
Yep.
Right now, you don't have to worry about how. All you need to know, or all you need to think about or invest your time in, is to what to do, right? And then how to do is being done by the AI agent, the Copilot, GitHub Copilot is there. It's going to improve the productivity for you. So that learning curve completely goes away. If
Mm.
you are a senior level developer or even a mid-level developer, you can definitely debug some codes. There might be some compilation issues. You can definitely look at it, and then you can say, oh, you have done this wrong, make this correction. That's the minimalistic info. That is the minimalistic intelligence that you need to have to make the idea come to reality.
I see. Okay, that makes sense to increase or improve the productivity. Another area where AI is being talked a lot about is healthcare. Right? AI is being used in areas such as cancer detection and radiology. They've started using in these specific areas. But can it truly transform healthcare? And is there a realistic possibility that it could replace even doctors? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah. Yet, see, it cannot replace a person, right? So the AI can never replace a person. At the end of the day, it has to be a person, maybe like two-person being cut off, but at the end, that should be one person that makes the decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can give you an example. It's a study out there where I know personally. I have a family friend who is actually a radiologist, right? So he works in Delhi. He analyzes all the sample. He's expert in looking at the report of an X-ray or the MRI, and then he can find the spots where potentially looks cancerous, right? So he's gonna mark those things, saying, "Oh, this area looks is a potential to become cancerous or not." Right? He's an
Mm.
expert in it. How did he become expert? Like he has like 25 years of experience looking at various X-rays, various scenarios, various use cases. He have been wrong. Sometimes he might be correct. Sometimes he may not be correct. So he has that feedback loop. So he takes that feedback and then makes the decision. Now he is that expert at it. He just by looking at it, he can say, "Oh, this patient is good or not good." Right?
Mm.
That AI can do what he did for 25 years in matter of days.
Wow.
All
Amazing.
you need is the large data set
Mm.
feedback saying this is cancerous, this is not cancerous. That's all you need for one particular image. You feed it with constant images. The next image that you give, once you have the fully trained model, it can easily say, yes, this patient has potential to, potentially he might get cancerous in the future or not.
So is your friend concerned about losing his job? What does he think about what is next evolution is going to be in terms of the job role?
So he's saying, okay, I can use the tool. I can just verify whether it is doing it or not. He was welcoming. Surprisingly, I thought like he might not like it, but he said
Hmm.
it's going to make. So he had a complete different different perspective. He said if I
Hmm.
can analyze the samples, he said like 100 samples today with this tool, can I do it 2,000 samples? That's the question he asked. So I said
I
yes.
see.
So he says, yes, I can have 2,000 people in a day, which is
Hmm.
great. So I'm going to use this tool. So if I can do this, then
Okay.
I will do that. So their perspective is completely different. So he's looking at how many people he can help in a day using the tool.
I think that's the right attitude because guess
Right.
what? If he's not showing such an attitude, what will happen is he'll be replaced with somebody else who's willing to
Correct.
do that, right?
Correct.
Because his management now knows that the potential is a lot more using AI. If he's refusing to use AI, he'll be out of job. So it's better for him to use AI and process more patients. That's great.
Yep. So we are seeing a lot of improvements in healthcare too. So it's not just in companies using co-pilots and not just developers, technical people. AI is going to be used in. I think it is being used in all your appliances, right? Starting from your washing machines to your refrigerators, everything is going to have these AI agents. And then you have one master AI agent, like I said, who's doing the communication. And interestingly, Riaz, we talked about Maya, right? We talked about
Yes.
video editing. I have
Mhm.
some that I can share quickly.
Oh
If
yeah,
I can,
absolutely.
1 second. Okay. So I was experimenting with a new tool called Aleph. It's from Runway ML. So I can just open it now rather than talking.
Is that a video editing tool? What kind of tool is that?
Yeah, it's a video editing tool. Let's
A
just
lot
see
of tools nowadays.
yeah, see the output and then we can talk about. So this is the original video, right?
Yep, on the
And we have
lower right.
something more. Yeah,
Wow.
and you can see all of these things.
So did you
So
turn your head, or is that AI turning your head as well?
now I turn the head and then it's turning it.
Okay, so basically changing the effects, but you controlled the direction of the head, basically.
Correct, correct.
I see.
So,
Interesting.
so to edit this, right? So let's say if I have to do a snowy, if I have to change the background to a snowy background, you can see the house is also having snow on it, and then this is not covered in snow, right? So that's how it is
Yeah.
real time. You can see the trees, you can see the snowflakes falling on my head.
Yeah.
Uh, so all these, the entire video, I think right now I generated 5 second video. You can generate 5 second video. You can generate this in 2 minutes, right? And all you need to do is be good at prompting. So I
Hmm.
edited this video just using just using language.
Hmm. In
So
English.
in English, yeah. So you can see
Interesting.
this one. This is more scary too, right? You can replace. You can see my skin tone got changed. The person looks different, obviously.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can see the exact logos on the same bag. I'm wearing the same bag, same T-shirt, everything, just like the.
Right. A different person. Yeah.
Yeah, people are doing it till today. It's not a magic because it's been there for some time. But
Hmm.
the fact that I did this in 2 minutes kind of threw away a lot of VFX artists right away, right?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
posted interestingly, I posted this video in my LinkedIn, and immediately like couple of VFX artists jumped in and they said like, oh, this is not good, or this is bad.
They don't
This
like
is
it, clearly.
they don't like it deeply. But I was optimistic. Right? I was saying a person who doesn't have experience in VFX can do this. What if you guys use this, right? So they can complete certain tasks that takes like 20 days to render. They can do it in like a couple of minutes, right? So
Hmm.
that's how I view it.
Yeah, this is an amazing use case. Thanks for showing. And so what's mind blowing is it not only changed the background, it's also matched everything else for you. Like for example, throwing snow on your face and on your shirt and all the details. It's amazing.
So if you talk to a VFX artist, they would be talking about lighting, where to place the light. They'll be talking about mesh, skin color, skin tone, and all those things, right? So
Yep.
I did not worry about any of these things. I don't even know most of the things that the VFX artist knows, but it's actually doing all this tasks for me, right? It's very
It's
rudimentary.
amazing.
It's just creating an awe in us, but enough it's gonna be powerful enough to create an entire movie or even sequence of sequence of long videos.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for showing that, Adib. So we are approaching the end of the show. So for listeners who wish to deepen their understanding of AI, where should they begin? Are there any
Um,
resources or frameworks that you recommend for people that don't consider themselves as specialists?
yeah, that's the thing. Yes. So this is another interesting topic that you brought in, right? So the AI is actually producing people. I mean, it's creating people who are more intelligent in fraction of seconds, right? If you want to talk about quantum computing, I might have a little bit of information from my physics class, from here and there, from articles. But let's say you want to go to a panel and then you want to discuss about quantum computing. So there are researchers who have spent their entire life on this, and then there are kids who learned this entire concept in a couple of months using AI, right? So it's producing people with more and more information who are more intelligent. So to answer your question directly, right now, if I were like 5 years ago, I would have said like go to this website, go to this website. Right now, I would say go to your favorite chatbot. That's what I would say. Go talk to the chatbot and say, okay, I want to learn this. I want to be an AI expert. What is my step? It's gonna give you a better answer than me because it knows you based on your preferences and based on all your prompts before. It's gonna give you a tailored plan to execute. Right. So I would say just talk to your favorite chatbot. That's gonna be a new.
Interesting. Okay, that's I think that's easy enough for a lot of people, right? We all have access to a number of LLMs, which is great. So Adip, where can people find you? I'm sure you have created a lot of curiosity for people to connect with you, to also to watch more of your creations, like the video that you just showed. So if people want to connect with you or find you, where can they find you?
So I'm available on most of the social network, but I would say people can find me in LinkedIn because professional settings. That's where I would be. I would want people know me. So in LinkedIn, if you search my first name, Adheep, right, Adheep Mohamed or Adheep,
I will
would
put
be
that in the show notes as well, so people have the exact spelling
yeah.
and a
So they
link
can
to your
find me.
LinkedIn as well. Yeah,
Yes.
wonderful. Thank you, Adip. So, very final question: what business book that you would like to recommend for my audience?
That's a good question. A couple of them. Let me think. Okay, so the most maybe more relevant to our conversation today, the most favorite I would say, the Innovator's Dilemma, a book called The Innovator
Innovator's
Dilemma,
Dilemma. Okay.
yeah, by Clayton Christensen. Uh, it's been slightly has changed the perspective in which I look at the business right now. I can give you a quick nutshell of what it is, right? So you can see a lot of bigger companies crumbling down when it comes to adapting to newer technologies, right? And we are seeing a lot of smaller companies who are very focused on a specific niche, prove their success, and become a unicorn company in few years, right?
Like OpenAI is an example, right? Like
Exactly,
it's, yeah.
OpenAI, and you can talk about all the startups that become IPO, right, in couple of years, and then there are also giants who are sitting like Google, Adobe. So they've been in the industry for so many years, but there are companies who are starting just 2 3 years back, and then now they've become unicorn, right? So how are they doing it? It talks about how you can adapt to new technology, how you should be, should you take a resistive approach or take immediate adoptions for newer technologies. So it talks about that in detail. That kind of give me a bigger perspective. So just read the book, The Innovator's Dilemma, whether you should choose technology or adopt technology. So that's basically the core concept of it.
Awesome. Sounds like an interesting book. I'm curious now. I will find that book and I will give it a read as well. Adheep, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I learned quite a lot today in talking to you. I'm sure my audience would feel the same as well. Really appreciate your time, and thank you for joining me and my audience in this show today. Thank you.
Thank you, Riaz. It's been wonderful too.